list that might feel like that they feel are most critical for them to start. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to let everybody in since it's 7 o'clock. Hello, all. It's great to see y'all. As you come in, we'd love for you to unmute yourself definitely have your camera video playing for us so we can see you. Welcome, Janine.
Hello.
For you. I recognize some of these names. Hello, Sarah and Jennifer.
Hi.
Hello, Alyssa, Maria. Hey, Ronnie, good to see you. Good to have you here.
Hi, sir.
Ryan, welcome. It's good to see you. Hey, Christopher, you were one of you and Alyssa were our first two to sign up. It's great to have y'all here.
Excellent.
Tonight.
Glad to be here.
And we actually have we have a couple of teams represented here from our KoPilot mentoring team. So you can see some of those names. Hey, Chuck, welcome. It's good to see you, David. Hey, Greg. Scott was here earlier. Scott drop off. Oh, there he is. There's Scott. Now I see his picture. Got David still trying to join. Hello, Heather. Thank you for putting your name in there.
Hi. I'm going to try to join through my computer instead of my phone.
Okay, great, Janine.
Hello.
Hello, D. You is first name?
Danya.
Danya.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Great to have you here. I recognize lots of names, y'all. Super. I recognize lots of names of the emails I was sending out to y'all today and the welcome videos. Newt, welcome. Great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Ryan, are you any kin to the Meltons there in Alabama?
No, sir. We all here in Mississippi.
All right. Got a few more still coming in. One thing we're going to do is I want to demonstrate here in a minute how we can put your team number with your name. If you know how to do that, you can go ahead and do that. But if you would click on your name and in the three dots in the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to share my screen so I can demonstrate this to everybody. We got a couple that are not going to be able to make it tonight because they're feeling under the weather. I'm going to click on my name in the upper right-hand corner, the three dots. And I'm going to drag down to the bottom where it says rename. And I'm going to add my team number. I'm actually just going to add one of them. You just look on Scott's name.
You're not sharing the screen. I think you're sharing.
Oh, thank you, Scott. Is that better? Is that here in the portal now, the view? Let's see what
I'm seeing Gmail anyhow.
Yeah, I'm just seeing your Gmail.
All right.
I'm not sure if you can necessarily share the Zoom behind the scenes with Zoom.
You may be right. So anyway, we'll go to three dots and click on the upper right-hand side of your name of your camera on the three dots, and it will give you a drop-down menu. And if you scroll to the bottom, it says rename. You click on that, and at the end of your name, it should open up a rename box. And we'd love for you to keep your first and last name there, and then go ahead and add your team number to the name there. So you can see mine now. Mine will display that I'm FRC 2468. If you don't know your number off the top, that's perfectly okay. This is just trying to help us put some names with faces and numbers. I know we've got a really heavy contingent here of Louisiana and Mississippi tonight, which is great. All right. So we're going to use Zoom each week. I'm going to introduce myself, and then I'll have a couple of the other mentors that are here. I'm Norman Morgan. I'm the lead teacher and head coach for FRC 2468. We also have FRC 2687 Team Apprentice and FRC 2689 Team Alpha out of my high school. So we've got about 130 kids doing FRC. One of those teams is our first year rookie team, very much like you guys. This is Scott, is this 17th year?
The start of
Our 17th year. Scott's been with us from the very beginning. And I've been very fortunate to meet a couple of these other wonderful people throughout my years of mentoring. And so we're here in Austin. We have a team from California, 971, the Spartans. There's Sarah. Welcome, Sarah. We also are going to have Thunder Down Under from Australia, from Sydney, Australia, will be calling in every once in a while helping us. And we have Exploding Bacon from Florida. And Elise is sick tonight. She called in, said she had a migraine, so she wasn't going to make tonight, but you'll definitely be hearing from her and seeing her as we start to move forward. So I'm gonna go ahead and ask Sarah. We'll jump all the way across to the other coast and let Sarah give a little bit about her background and quick introduction.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Heimlich. I've been doing first since I was negative 4 months old. Yes, the negative should be there. My mom was pregnant with a team, or my mom was pregnant with me when she was mentoring a team a while ago. And yeah, have gotten the bug and been involved ever since. I've been mentoring now for just over a decade. I think this is my 11th or 12th season I've been mentoring. I was involved with 3132 in Australia, helped found that team, helped found the whole program in Australia that got to do some pretty remarkable stuff. And now I'm over here in California with 971. Yeah, is there anything else, Norm, I should say? I guess 971 is going to be doing a lot of the competition preparedness stuff. I'm the lead competition mentor for 971. And what that means is it's my responsibility. We also have a lead student for that space. And together it's our responsibility to make sure the team is ready for competition. So, the mechanical team delivers the robot, the software team programs it, the outreach and awards team does the outreach and gets our award submissions ready. And it's our job to make sure that when we arrive at competition, we're ready to go. We have everything there and the team's going to be able to put their best foot forward. I'm a product manager in my day-to-day life, soon to be at Blue River, which is a subsidiary of John Deere. And so that's kind of what I do on the team, is a lot of the product management.
Awesome. We'll also have Sarah's sister, Jay, will be joining us from time to time. She's a mentor for not only 2468 virtually here, just like we're using tonight, but she is also going to be a mentor for a rookie team for 971. And then Jay's mom, Luann Heimlich, who's regional director for Northern California, and the one who was not pregnant with the team, as Sarah said. But Luann is also going to be assisting Jay in mentoring 971's rookie team as they do the KitBot this year. So great experience and great leadership we have there. So how about you, Chuck?
My turn. Good evening, everyone. My name is Chuck Dickerson. I am so excited about KoPilot and that all of you are going to join us on this journey. I eat, sleep, and breathe robots all day, every day. I work for the U.S. Army. I'm a civilian, not a green suit military. but I develop robots professionally for the U.S. Military, for the Department of Defense, both civilian applications and military applications. And that's my day job. And then in the evenings, on the weekends, I work with kids and have been doing FRC for over 20 years with Team 456. I'm the lead mentor here in Vicksburg, Mississippi. And I also serve as the chief robot inspector for all of FRC, along with Al Skirkowitz. For those of you that are in Mississippi, Louisiana, you'll likely see me at either Magnolia or Bayou events. I'm the lead robot inspector for Bayou, and so when it comes to the mechanical stuff, the robot, the inspection, things like that, I'm kind of the go-to guy. And so I'm here to help you with all of those questions and that sort of thing. And like Coach Norman said, we have a big contingent, it seems like, from Mississippi and Louisiana. And I want all of you to know, and it's not just Mississippi, Louisiana teams, but we have open door, and would love to have you guys help you any way we can. If you need to come to our shop from, Vicksburg is fairly centrally located to the Mississippi, Louisiana contingent here. So please reach out to me through the build season, through the year, in the future, coming years. I'm here to be a resource and to help you get through your experience here, however we can. Over.
Thanks. We'll go ahead and stick with David's. We'll stick with the Mississippi, Louisiana connection here.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is David Fava. I'm the first senior mentor for the state of Mississippi. I'm also the founder of Team Fusion 364, and I could not be more happy to see all of your faces this evening. 24 years ago, when the journey started, there wasn't this level of connection between teams. You had to find, you had to search. And what you're coming in at the ground level, your rookie season, and having the opportunity to have personal relationships with the caliber of people that you are going to meet here is going to be forever changing your trajectory in first. So I applaud you for jumping in, most of you jumping in on something that you really had little understanding of. But I promise, I saw you, Janine, laughing about that. And sometimes you have to take a leap of faith to find something this good. And I promise you, the end of your journey will be something more special than you can believe. Your kids will be transformed. You will be transformed. So everybody in the state of Mississippi, you got my phone number, and I will expect you to call. And once this is all going, we'll all be connected on the Band app. So you will have that type of relationship with all of these special people. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and getting connected to KoPilot.
Awesome. Thank you, David. How about you, Scott?
Okay. My name is Scott McMahon. I'm a electrical engineer. I work at a Swedish telecom company, Ericsson, during the day. At night, I work for Norman as one of his industry mentors. I focus mainly on the electrical sub-team of ours. And so if there's an electrical question, feel free to reach out to me. I am a trained robot inspector. And so therefore I also sort of work for Chuck. And so I can answer questions like that. Early on in my first career, which is now, as Norman said, going on our 17th year, I was foolish enough to speak up at my company and get them involved with FIRST. And for a while we supplied motor controllers. So if you have questions about things like the CAN bus and whatnot, yeah, I actually brought that to FIRST. So there's a lot of things that Norman's mentors can bring to bear that will help you out. The really scary part is if you think I've got some credibility, wait till we get to Greg.
Thanks, Scott. Okay, Greg, how about you?
Wait a second. Yep, Scott. So, sorry, I'm a little under the weather. We've had a cold going through our house, and it's my turn. So yeah, I started doing FLL 20 some odd years ago with Lego, doing the software for them. And then I've been on the control systems team with First since about 2008, 2007. We did this, I work for National Instruments, which was recently acquired by Emerson. So yeah, I was involved in the C-Rio and the Robo-Rio days. And I mentor software. I'm a software engineer by day, and I mentor the software programming team for all three of our teams. It's great. Love watching the new kids come in and learn, about state machines and PID and all the basics. A lot of times at events, I spend my time volunteering what we call a CSA, which is basically the guy who goes around and helps troubleshoot. So love helping, getting down on my hands and knees and looking in the robot with the kids and helping them find a loose wire or diagnosing a bad motor or whatever. So, and my kids are my daughter just graduated and my son's still in the program. He was on the rookie team last year, and he'll be on the JV team this year. So it's great doing it with him and with all the other kids.
Thanks, Greg. Hope it's feeling better. Did Addie bring that home from Boston?
No, I think it was here before she arrived.
Greg's daughter's going to school in Boston. How about you, Lewis? Oh, did we lose Lewis? There he is. Think you're muted there, Lewis.
There we go. That's better. I'm sorry.
There we go.
I'm so sorry, guys. So my name's Lewis Jackson. I'm the first senior mentor for the state of Louisiana. I'm David's counterpart over here in the Bayou State. And I've been involved with First, since maybe 2009, when my daughter was on a First Lego League junior team. And I've been a coach with First Lego League since 2015. And I joined First Robotics competition in 2020. I am the lead mentor now for Team 1912 Combustion here in Slidell, and where I primarily work with the students on designing mechanical objects, the intakes and elevators and things of that nature. I teach them the CAD and fabrication. In my not so fun life, I'm a civil engineer. I'm the operations manager for a small but growing engineering company here in New Orleans.
Awesome. Thanks, Lewis. I remember competing with Combustion in Louisiana when we went to tournament down there. You guys do a great job. Well, sum total years of experience. We got lots of experience here. And I can recall back in 2008, how naive I was in starting a First Robotics team, and first day of school, starting school and telling the kids, we're going to do this thing called First Robotics, and we're going to go to Houston, and we're going to win Rookie All-Star and go to World Champs. And little did I know how naive I was to even propose such an idea. Things have changed quite a bit since then. I think there are so many more resources available for new teams, new mentors, and having access to the technology to connect, and then just the amount of resources that are available. So you're all in for an exciting time, and we're very excited to have you join. In the end, we hope to have about 15 to 20 teams in this program that are KoPilot mentored teams, and we'll be meeting each week during this remainder of this semester, this fall, 1 to 2 times a week. And then once season starts, we'll be a little bit even more available in terms of times of meeting. Not so much that we want to interfere with your times, but and your teams, but we want to be as David said, a call here a few weeks ago, just in time resource. We want to provide you the resources we feel like you need, and we want to be there when you need it. And so we hope to be able to provide that through you, either through virtual means, through Zoom here, through some digital apps, through some recordings, and then also through your network of, number one, being connected to the other teams that are here, as well as connected to the mentors that are and mentor teams that have agreed to mentor you. So I want to talk about tonight is not going to be a lot of technical resources at all. We really want to make a connection with you. And most of you should have received a welcome video from me today or last week. We want you to feel comfortable reaching out. We want you to feel like there's a resource here, and we want to provide that connection to you. I was very fortunate my first year to have a couple of mentors here close in town in Austin that I could call, and I could have come over and visit my team. I know all of you may not have that. And so we're hoping that we can be that network for you. And so it is important why you're here. And I'm very fortunate that we get to have some of the resources that we have. And so I'm going to take and change cameras here. And share my screen. Are y'all seeing my whiteboard there?
Yes.
All right.
Seeing
Great.
the KoPilot responses spreadsheet on Google, Norman.
Can y'all see my iPad here?
Yes, in the other window.
In the little window.
Yeah.
The little window. That's not what I want.
Yeah, but you can grab the little 2 lines and drag that over to the side and make the window bigger.
But I think if you'll stop screen sharing and just pin your video, we'll be able to all see it, your video larger.
Right.
There we go, like that.
Yep.
All right. We'll get technology to work for us here. So I'm going to start off with a little bit of a graph here. And we all know the world has changed drastically, and many of us in education can identify with how it's changed in our classrooms and what's going on an everyday basis, and just even in our everyday life. And so if we look at this, and this is a rate of change on this side over here, and then at the bottom is time. All right. And if we look at, this is our traditional views and ideas. As things change, and we can actually deal with a little bit of change over time. But with technological advances and everything else, there's more changes happening than we can deal with. And so back when I was in school, and I'm a 3rd generation teacher, I can remember that old sage on the stage, the person who stood at the front of the room and talked to us and told us, you know, what we needed to know and how we were going to use it and how we were going to move forward and how we were going to be successful. And I am not that kind of educator now. And I'm very much in tune with seeing that there's got to be a different model. And there's definitely got to be a different approach. And so I am not the source of all knowledge here. I'm very fortunate to have people like Greg and Scott who can be my experts in those areas. And I don't have to worry about being that expert. And we've got others the same way here. So we're going to move from a different model to well, I'm having all kinds of problems with my technology here. So if we look at the old model was one person over here. I'll get it right here in a minute. So there was me up in front, delivering the information. And there was one person that knew it all. They were explaining all, they were telling all, and they were the source of information. They were the source of knowledge. There was a definite limit to the amount of growth and the amount of success could have happened. And so what we're going to propose and we're going to utilize here in this program is a totally different model. And there's going to be a whole lot of asking, a whole lot of inviting, a whole lot of encouraging, a whole lot of feedback from you as new to the program and trying to figure out what we want. So that new model is going to be, instead of one small group or one person, we're wanting to create these groups that you feel connected to. And even though they're not in your school, even though they're not in your town, we want you to feel connected, and we want you to feel like there's a pace that you can manage, you can control. We've chosen to focus on the EveryBot, and we've chosen to focus on the KitBot this year as our focus of robots. The great thing about that is it gives you a pathway, it gives you a plan. And first is started the KitBot program this year, and I'm really excited about it. And I think it's going to raise the level of playing field. We've got some individuals that are involved in our program that have been participating at the first level and have seen some of the information. We have no idea about what the game is. They know some of the resources teams are going to be shared with. We as a program here at 2468 have been using the EveryBot since 2019. We've built an EveryBot each year, and we've been very successful in transitioning those relatively new and rookie, inexperienced students from nothing, no knowledge whatsoever about FIRST, to moving them to a position where they feel comfortable, they're helping other teams at tournaments, and they're having a successful year, and they're coming back and being successful the next year. And that's kind of what we want for you guys. I'm not concerned about starting new teams. In fact, I'm more concerned with if we have 15 of you and next year all 15 teams come back and you successfully participate, then that is success for me. Each of you will have to identify what success is in your program, and we'll work on helping you kind of frame that and work on some methods to identify that to share with your teams and your parents and your mentors. But for me, and KoPilot, and I know the other mentors here, we've had several conversations where we want to see all of you back next year. And if we can get you to year 3 or year 4, and that seems like a long way away for some of you right now, but if we can get you to year 3 or 4, more often than not, those teams have found a way to be successful, and they found a path, and they found a structure that works for them. And the structure that's worked for David with his teams, and the structure that's worked for Chuck with his teams, and the structure that's worked for Sarah with 971, and even with Thunder Down Under in Australia. Every team is different, and every structure is different. And we're going to try to help you try to find and identify what that structure is. So we're going to go to breakout rooms here in a minute. And I want you to be thinking about 3 things. 1, self. Why is it important for you to be here? Why did you choose to be here? You chose to be involved in starting an FRC team. and you chose to dedicate the time and the energy and the effort and the resources, not only to that, but also to come be a part of this program. And I think that a lot of it is you have a sense of connection and hopefully a sense of a feeling of support and respect for those that have reached out to you and have shared with you what kind of resources you're going to be able to get through us here with KoPilot. And so I want you to think about it from the point of view of yourself. What's in it for you? Why are you doing this? And you need to think about, and you need to be honest with yourself on that. And then you need to think about, what about others? What is it is important to others that you may be working with? It may be the students, it may be the administrators, it may be the parents, it may be your community, it may be the mentors you're working with. It's probably going to be all of those, but why is it important for them as well? And then let's take it even one step bigger. Why is it important for the world? What is the purpose of this? Dean Kamen and Woody Flowers came up with the idea to try to celebrate engineering and robotics, just like we celebrate high school athletics and band and choir and music. I'm an ex-basketball coach. Was a high school head basketball coach for 18 years. I coached student council. I coached football and basketball and golf and tennis. And now I've actually coached robotics longer than I did any of those other sports or activities. And I'm very fortunate to be able to impact students that come through my building every single day and make connections with those students and make connections with mentors to those students and to the industry. So what we want you to do is be thinking about, why is it important for yourself? Why is it important for others? And why is it important for the world? So while you're reflecting just a little bit on that, before we go to the breakout room, I want to tell you a little bit about what we want you to do in the breakout room. So we're going to put you in small groups. And the intent of the small groups is for you to feel more comfortable. We want you to feel protected. We want you to feel successful. We want you to feel that the individuals that are in the room with you support you and hear you and understand you where you are. Where you are as an individual is totally different than where I am as an FRC mentor. And don't get caught up into the comparison game of the number of years of experience or the number of teams or the number of students. That is not the intent here. So in your small group, when we get into our group, you're going to have 7 or 8 minutes. You're going to be in groups of 3 to 4. You're going to have a mentor from KoPilot that'll be in there, and they will help lead the conversation in the room. And so we want you to unmute your camera. We want you to be able to see each other and talk to each other so you can see the individual and you can hear where they are and understand. Have a little bit of an understanding and be respectful of their share and respectful of their vulnerability of opening themselves up and sharing a little bit with you. So we're going to ask each person to limit their share to 1 minute. And then after, so if I'm sharing and Chuck and Scott are in my room with me, so I'm going to introduce myself. I'm going to call myself, I'm Norman, and I'm going to share why I think it's important for me to be here. And the importance for me to be here is I want to grow individually. And I'm only going to grow individually if I challenge myself and I put myself in positions where I need to continue to grow, and I need to be in positions that are going to challenge me and make me understand why I do the things that I do. And so after I would share, Scott and Chuck are going to recognize me. We want them to recognize me by emojis in the reaction tools. We want Scott and Chuck to address me by name and give me a positive comment or give me an understanding comment of maybe something that they recognize that I said or I touched on, maybe a parallel to something that they feel or they can understand. And then the next person would share. It would be Scott or Chuck's turn to share their feeling. And then if Scott shares, then Chuck and I are going to acknowledge Scott the same way. And so we're going to move around the room to help each other understand. You'll get a warning of when the rooms are going to close, and we're going to all come back together. And then we're going to ask for some volunteers that might be interested in sharing something that stuck out from them, not only from their share, but maybe from just the overall general feeling in their room, or if they want to share themselves personally as well. And then we'll follow up with the next action. So if I could have you at this point, if you all could just give me a thumbs up or a verification or an emoji reaction that you understand what we're doing and what the purpose is. Thank you. Thank you. That really means a lot. I appreciate that. So we're starting to see the emojis. We're starting to see the reactions. We've got the chat over there. So you can actually make a comment if there's something you feel like you feel strong about. Absolutely feel free to make a comment in the chat. There's also a Q&A button at the bottom where you can ask some questions. We will get to that at the end of the meeting, where if there's some questions that we want to ask, we'll ask those through the Q&A button as well. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the rooms. You'll have in room 1, we'll have Sarah will be leading room 1. In room 2, Chuck will be leading room 2. In room 3, David will be leading room 3. Greg will be leading room 4. And then the next room will be Scott will be leading room 6. I accidentally deleted number 5. I didn't like the number 5 tonight. So I just told number 5, we're going to kick them out of the room tonight because they were being a little bit rude. So we just jumped from number 4 to number 6. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the rooms, and then I'll be jumping around from rooms as well. So we'll see you back here in a few minutes.
Oh,
Hello, Heather.
hey.
I'm going to assign you to a room. We had some that didn't get. How are you this evening, Heather?
RA is kicking my, you know what?
I understand.
No, it's all new to me.
Heather, where are you from?
Texas.
Okay. So do you know Chuck or David, either one? Chuck Dickerson or David Papa?
No, I've been in the cancer research field for a very long time. And I joined Sideport, well, actually 9 years ago. So yeah, well, anyway, so but I'm kind of the new to the robotics thing.
Super. All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and sign you to a room here, and then we'll see you back here in a few minutes.
Okay, thanks.
Hello, Maria.
Hey, I think I lost connectivity for a minute when
That's
you
fine.
assigned room, so I'm not sure where I'm supposed to be.
I'm gonna go ahead and shoot you over to Chuck's room, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Wait for others to come in. Hope you had a good time sharing there. Good to see all the faces coming back in here. Got a couple more just wrapping up here. A few more seconds. Only 10 people. There we go. There they all come.
Yeah, you didn't leave us enough time, dude.
I didn't.
We were just getting into it.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. See Newt coming back in there. All right. Welcome all back. Everybody give me a thumbs up. Did that go okay? A thumbs up or a reaction? All right, super. Anybody want to share give a little feedback to us here?
Well, Norm, I'll go ahead and jump off and get this party started. Look, I had a great time. I had Lewis in there. We got to catch up on some things, but I met Newt. And Newt is an electrical, does sensor work, some programming at Hallmac, which is going to support the Jasper County team. And I asked him what it was in for, what was in it for him, and he mentioned that one, he would have loved to have this opportunity as a student in the high school, and then it's about the lifelong learning component. He looked forward to learning and working with the students and giving them an opportunity to gain skills and do great things. And he also mentioned that he looked forward to taking on a leadership role as a young person in his field, getting out there. And I said, there's no better way to learn leadership than to throw yourself amongst herding cats of an FRC team.
Absolutely.
So I was glad to meet him and excited to work with him.
That's great, Newt. You're going to be such a great role model for your kids. Your kids are fortunate to have somebody that wants to come and give back, and you're going to be hearing lots that same comment of "I wish that I had this when I was a kid." You'll hear that many times. I think you can get some agreement from the other mentors here. So thank you for sharing, Newt. Thank you for sharing, David. Anybody else?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. That was the one of the first comments on ours. I wish we had this when we were a kid. That's why it was important. Very common thread there to what David was saying. I think our group sees the importance of investing in the youth and for recruiting purposes and in our communities and providing these opportunities for kids. I had Chris and Alyssa and Maria on, and several of us were rural areas, and we have recruiting issues for engineering companies. And, we want the kids to know that there's opportunities there and prepare them, locally. We had a couple of questions, Norman, and we can address this with a big group later, but I wanted to make sure we got them on the table.
Okay.
Everyone in my group needs a little bit more information or background on what is a kit bot versus what is every bot. What are they? Who does what? And is it something they need to purchase? Is it something that they will receive at kickoff in January, et cetera? I'm happy to address that, but I just want to put it on the table as something we need to discuss here before we get off of this call, so that everybody's clear on what stuff is.
Great question here. So great segue here, Chuck. You mentioned attracting good people.
Yep.
You in here are change agents. I'm a lifelong educator. My parents were both educators. My granddad was an educator. My aunt taught in a one-room schoolhouse. My granddad was a vocational teacher and worked for the pipe fitters union there in Houston. And so he was a teacher, and he was also a pipe fitter. And so he was a worker, and very much what I see many of my mentors on our team and our program. And I think of people like Scott and Greg and George, who are mentors in my program. And I think about how much of an agent of change that they are. And you are absolutely, you wouldn't be here if you weren't special. And you are a change agent. And the great thing about change agents is you attract special people to you. And when you surround yourself with people like you've surrounded yourself in this room here tonight, even though we're virtually, you have opened up a connection to stronger change agents and people that you will be connected with throughout your career in FRC, and people that hopefully you will develop to a relationship to depend on and be able to call on. And so I hope you understand a little bit about, we understand the calling, and we understand the commitment that you're making, and we want to be here to make it an easier transition for you and make it feel less daunting to you. And so I'm going to go ahead and bring up the answer the question that Chuck mentioned, and I'll take a shot at it, and then if the other mentors have something you want to kick in. So each of you have registered for your first season. That $6,000 is your registration fee. That includes your first regional or district tournaments. And all of you here don't know of anybody that's in districts in the call tonight, except for us here in Texas. So that $6,000 is your first regional, and it is the basic kit of parts. So you will get a chassis kit from Andy Mark in the kit when you pick your kit up on kickoff day, January 6th. It's called the Andy Mark AM One for You. I'll be sharing some resources on some PDFs that you can take and start to look at that and see. We will actually show you some past kits that are in the process of being built by some of my freshmen and first year sophomores. So you can kind of see what that kit looks like and get an idea of what you'll be seeing. And so that you get that in your kit of parts. You'll get some basic components, and in the first kit this year, for the first time ever, they have what's called the kit bot. And it is a description and a proposed plan for how to tackle this year's contest challenge and be competitive. It will include wiring. It will include sample code that you can actually download and use. It will include a pathway of what does the mechanism or mechanisms look like, the size, the dimension of the robot, the size of wires to use for each individual motor and controller, and complete layout. So that would be the kit bot. The opposing robot, not opposing robot, the other choice would be the EveryBot, which is a team out of Houston called 118, the Robonauts. They're sponsored by NASA. They've been around a long time. And several years ago, they started in 2018, they started putting together a basic design, which was the EveryBot, which was $1,000 on top of the kit of parts and a robot that they felt would be successful. And it comes out with step-by-step bill of materials. It comes out with a build guide and description, and also code that you can download in Java to actually compete and be competitive at a tournament. There's a large number of teams that build that robot. They've got their own Discord community and they share resources. Some of the robot supplier companies like Andy Mark and Rev and Thrifty Bot have started making parts available where you can purchase from them. So if you don't have the manufacturing capabilities, the EveryBot started off as a $1,000 robot that you could build with everyday tools out of your garage. And so there's a limited number of mechanisms on either the kit bot or the EveryBot. And we feel that you can be competitive with those robots. And our goal is to take you through a step-by-step phase. You don't have to recreate the wheel. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You literally have to follow the directions and move in a step-by-step process. And the great thing about this program this year is 971 is going to build the kit bot. 2468 is going to build the EveryBot. So we will have first year rookie students that will be building these robots, and we will be able to use those as examples to show you each individual week on a weekly update of what our progress was, what were the hangups, what were the problems we ran into, so we can try to help you get through that as well. So that is, so from the EveryBot point of view, it comes out a little bit later because they spend a few days after kickoff coming up with the design. But from what we've been told this year, the kit bot will come out with the kit of parts that you pick up on that Saturday. and you could start to work on building your chassis and start to work on building your robot that week. We have 6 weeks from the kickoff day till the first weeks of tournaments. Our goal here at 2468 is to try to get our rookie robot built in 4.5 weeks, which would give us about, Scott says 4. So it would give us some time to actually drive and practice before we go to tournament. And drive and practice doesn't mean you have to be on a full field. It literally can be in a hallway. It can be in a classroom. And so we're going to show you some ways that you could practice and be comfortable with your robot when you get to your first tournament. If you're not going to week 1 tournament, you're going to have some more weeks to get your robot ready and be able to see what's working, what's not working, and have some opportunity to improve that. Before the first tournament, we'll also do a virtual robot inspection. I want to tag that real strong with that is not going to be an official robot inspection, but we will go through an official robot inspection checklist to try to get you through all the items so you're aware of what you're going to go through at the inspection and what might be some issues that you might run into. So we can get you through inspection, and because you're at a regional tournament, you're going to have a full practice day and you will have access to a practice field. So the intent will be to try to get you through inspection early so you can take advantage of getting on the field and letting your drivers drive on a real field and get that practice and get used to it. So that is my short sort of version of what EveryBot and KitBot is. Chuck, how did I do?
Had to get off mute. Great job, Norman. I think the take-home message is don't be scared. Whether it's the KitBot or the EveryBot, the resources will be provided to walk you step by step. You'll need very basic hand tools, a hacksaw, a hand drill, maybe a jigsaw, some clamps, those sorts of things. You can do this without, expensive machining and that kind of stuff. If you have those resources, that's even better. That's fine. But there's, I can tell you for the KitBot, you will be able to print out a piece of paper, cut it out with a pair of scissors, if it's a bracket or a plate or something, like that, stick it on a piece of metal, trace it out and cut it out with a jigsaw, mash drill it with a hand drill, those sorts of things. So, and EveryBot has committed to using the same chassis, the AM1 4U chassis dimensions as the KitBot. So even if you got started building your chassis in week 1, and like Coach Norman said, it may be a week or so before EveryBot comes out with their version of what the game element part of the EveryBot would add to it. You can get started right off the bat, right at kickoff, with your chassis, and it would work for either the KitBot or the EveryBot. I suspect that the EveryBot will take the KitBot and add some components to it to do a few more game elements. But one of my big pieces of advice for rookie teams is the game, whatever the game is, it will have a lot of different aspects to it, a lot of different elements. Don't try to do them all. Pick, some 1, 2, 3 things that you can be good at, and that's the objective of the KitBot and the EveryBot, is to provide resources for you to play the game and be competitive. And when you do that early and get more stick time, driver time, practice time with your drivers, that's going to really pay off in the long term. So don't be scared. Everything you're going to need information-wise will be provided to you. And as Norman said, you may have to go to Home Depot. You may have to spend $1,000, maybe $1,500 in additional materials for EveryBot or a few, sheet of plywood here or there. But it's not astronomical and certainly not something that you will be overwhelmed with as far as how to do things. That's what I would add, Norman.
All right, great. Any other mentors? Greg?
Yeah, I was going to add that this is the the kit is designed, and the way every bot is designed is there will be mistakes made. This is it is robots, but it's not rocket science. So kids might break a drill bit, they might drill the hole in the wrong place, they might put it on backwards. It's all fixable, and that is part of it. You want them to be a little challenged. You want them to make some mistakes and learn from them and ask you to help or ask someone else to help. That is part of it. This is not supposed to be so simple that it snaps together in 3 steps and you're done.
Right.
So just so you know in advance, it is meant to be a little challenging. They will make some mistakes, but you want them to be safe, but the mistakes are part of it.
And when you do, when they do come and ask you questions, if you don't know the answers, that's what we're here for, right? We're here to be your knowledge base, to be your guiding light. As things come up, you'll be able to just, send queries and get them answered by whoever happens to be available at the time. Out of my group, by the way, one of the things I was floored at is just sort of the fact that y'all are such great educators. So it's good. My mom was a teacher, and I wouldn't be as good an educator as any of y'all are. So one thing to understand a bit about the Everybot is that, in a normal, the Everybot is a great, or the Kitbot for that matter, it's a great tool to help bootstrap, in the sense that it helps take away some of the additional stresses that you would normally encounter if you were, doing a fully custom robot. It helps with easing up a bit on the design resources. It helps a bit with the strategy, and it kind of puts a robot in the hands of the students sooner, so that they get the celebration of having brought something to life sooner than they might if they were struggling through learning much more from a design and strategy perspective and whatnot. It gets them to the point of getting code on the robot and getting it in the hands of the drivers. And as Norman said, getting a little practice time and getting those celebrations of success along the way will also help with your team's outlook and motivation and whatnot. So it's a great first couple of years thing. And it doesn't have to be like the first couple of years only. As Norman mentioned, one of our 3 teams at school, that's what they do. And then we do it with them so that they get a more gentle introduction and not necessarily have to assume that all grade 9 kids know SolidWorks inside and out, kind of thing. So it's high, but at the same time, one of the things Norman didn't mention is we also give our kids, we in the district model, we do 2 events as part of our entry. And after the first event, if the kids on the Everybot team or the Kitbot team, decides they want to tweak something because they think they have a good idea, we let them go with that, right? But they have something they could still go to a second robot competition, even if they don't get that done, right? So we fundamentally try to take the pressure off them and increase their chances of success and celebration and whatnot. So just some thoughts.
So Chuck and David, when is Magnolia and Bayou? What weeks?
Magnolia's week 3, Bayou's week 6.
So let's talk about this from a perspective for most of you that are here. You're going to one of those 2 tournaments. So that means that you're going to get to see our team compete in one full tournament 2 weeks prior to your first potential tournament. If you're going to week 3 or week 6, you've really got 2.5 months before your first tournament, nearly 3 months. till your first tournament kicks off. So you're going to be in a great shape. So one of the things that Scott mentioned here is we're going to be available for feedback. And so we're going to be asking you each week when we get into the build season, we're going to be asking you for some homework of complete a Google form, send us a picture so we can see these. And so our team of KoPilot mentors can give you feedback. And the more you can provide us, the more we can provide you. So I'm going to share with everybody a Google Doc that is a series of questions. Wrong page again. Get on the right page. We've come up with a series of questions, and so I'm going to give you homework this week, and your homework is going to be look at this document that I share with you and choose the 3 questions that are most pressing to you. There may be questions here that you don't even have any clue what they mean, and that's perfectly okay. All right. But what we want you to do is choose what is the 3 most pressing questions to you. And in the Google form I'm going to send out, we're going to take and look at that and that will help us start to take and frame what does our conversation look like with you in the future. And so we want to be able to help you. To give you a basic idea of this, the rest of December, we'll have a call on Monday and Saturday. We would love to see you on the Monday call at the very least. And we also want to encourage you to bring some other mentors from your team. We want this to be an adult space, not a student space. We want you to feel protected and to feel you can ask the brutally honest and open questions and get brutally honest and open helpful feedback here. But that means that there's probably more than just one of you. And that goes back to that graph I talked about. This is not about the sage on the stage of one person being the source of all information. I'm very fortunate that I have Greg and I have Scott and I have George and others. I don't have to worry about those things. I let them take care of their expertise. And I want to encourage you to do the same thing. Find a parent that can be helping with hotels or with meals or with transportation or communications. If you have an electrical mentor who has some experience, let them study the electrical part and then you focus on other parts. So you don't have to know it all. I'm not going to even fathom to guess that or suggest that I could program a robot. That would be a joke in itself. I'm very fortunate that I have Greg and I have Landon and I have Scott to help and Joe to help take care of that. So you don't have to be the expert in all fields. We have experts that can help you that you can get in touch with. Come build season, we're going to have a call on Monday night. We'll have a call on Saturday morning. And then we're going to have a call Tuesday. We're going to have calls 3 more nights a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, probably. And those calls will be call in if you want. And we'll let you know ahead of time what topics are going to be there, and you can call in. Those are going to be short 15-minute snacks of content and then Q&A of how you may be able to get some help. I will offer some office hours during the week, during the day that you could call in. We're all logged into Zoom just like here, and you can call in. And if you have a question, you can call in. We're going to be using a couple of apps that you can post in, and not only can you get an answer, but somebody else will be able to follow up and see the answer as well. Janine posted a question there. Where's Kickoff? Kickoff is virtual on January 6th. It is webcast. Most areas have a local kickoff where you'll go pick up your kit of parts. At the very least, some of those areas will actually have some conversations where you can meet and greet. Some of them will have some workshops where you can attend some workshops and do a little learning. But the great thing is it's an opportunity for you to network with some other mentor teams and other leadership in your area. So I want to highly encourage you to start to plan on where will you be on January 6th for that kickoff. And I know David and Chuck and Lewis are great resources to help y'all. Where are the local kickoffs for Mississippi and Louisiana for y'all to attend? So I hope that answers your question there, Janine. So
if it gives you a small idea, on kickoff, Norman will be out with his truck to go pick up the kit of parts from the local pickup area, and other mentors and myself will be leading basically the watch party and the initial discussions of strategy ideas and hitting herding into getting them to read the rules, etc., that are published with respect to the game. I will point out that a lot of rules from prior years, and specifically last year, will carry forward into this year. So if you wanted to get a leg up on learning some of the specifics about, the control system and the rules regarding what a robot has to follow, the rules themselves are divided into sort of two groups of rule types. There's green rules and there are blue rules. The green rules, they call them evergreen, and they apply by and large year to year to year. The blue rules are game specific and are likely to change. But if you were to open up and go to the first website and grab, let's say, the robot construction rules, for instance, that PDF from 2023, every green rule should pretty much be the same this year. So those are the ones that I would look at if you were going to do some sort of pre-studying on that. And if you needed like clarification as to what does this really mean, this group is also a great resource for sort of providing some of the insight into what does the first language translate to in normal speak.
All right. I want to thank everybody for your time. And I really do want you to go away feeling that you are a change agent. You are somebody special, and you are going to attract success, and you're going to attract good people. And I want to encourage you to invite some other mentors and parents to come to the call next week. I'll answer a couple of those other questions here. Ronnie, I will share a document tomorrow. I'll share the links to last year's game manual that Scott was talking about, the Evergreen manual. And then the game elements. You don't get a full game element like you do in FTC. That's an excellent question. You get build plans to build the field elements, and you don't have to build all the field elements. You're probably not going to. You're just going to build the portion that you need to practice on. And we will help in that process of helping you identify what the game pieces will be in the kit. You'll at least, if there's two different game pieces, you'll get one of each. If there's one game piece, you'll get one of those. And then you can purchase additional game pieces from Andy Mark. Some of the other robot suppliers have those as well. 2 words of advice I would say before we get off tonight. I see Sarah has her quick hand up and Chuck does. Those of you that are educators, if you're going to be watching at home, the kickoff at your home location, you want to be sure, can you stream Twitch or can you stream YouTube at your school campus? If you can't, that would be something to get with IT on to see, because the webcast, now if you're going to a local kickoff, you won't have to worry about that. And so we can definitely give you some advice there. Alyssa has a question. You have a list of parts, tools you feel like you can't live without during build season. Alyssa, we're definitely going to get to that. We're going to make some recommendations of some basic hand tools, some basic electronics tools, that will be beneficial to you to help you get through the season for sure. And we'll go to Sarah with a question with her hand up.
Oh, I don't have a question. I just never got to introduce my room. We somehow skipped me.
Oh.
So I was hoping I could do that real quick here.
All right. Yeah.
I had Janine, George, and Heather, and the thing that really stood out across all three of them for me was that they're really excited about bringing FIRST to students who haven't had that opportunity before, and they're really passionate about that, which I think is awesome. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right, Chuck, how about you?
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on something Norman mentioned. Prior to kickoff, typically FIRST will send out a bill of materials for the practice field elements, and it'll be, X number of sheets of plywood, X number of 2x4, some kind of pipe or fittings or whatever it is. It's a list of stuff that you can go to Home Depot and purchase, so that come kickoff Saturday, if you're just itching to start building stuff, you can start building right then and there. I would highly encourage you not to go run out and buy all of that stuff right off the bat, because that is to build like all the practice field elements that they're going to supply CAD models and prints and blueprints and stuff for. And you're likely not going to need a lot of that. And so that would be, wasted funds. I would encourage you not to just blindly go and stockpile materials. A lot of it is not required. And along that note, if you all aren't getting communications now from FIRST, you should be getting blog messages, you should be getting emails. If you're not getting that information, and when I say you're not, you will know if you're not getting it, because it's a bombardment of information. Sometimes it's too much information. Somebody on your team should be listed as your primary and secondary mentors and whatnot. When the team may have been set up, I've had this happen in the past. Some school administrator put their email in something, and they're getting all this, what they think is spam, and the actual mentor or the teacher or someone that needs the information isn't getting it. Make sure within your team that those of you that are going to be leading your teams or are your teachers or in charge or your mentors or whatever are getting the information that they need, because I can guarantee you FIRST is sending it out in plethora. So if you're not getting it, figure out why you're not getting it.
All right, Scott.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I totally agree with Chuck that you shouldn't necessarily go and stockpile all the materials that they talk about as part of the heads up that they give you. And of course, it's always very ambiguous because they don't want to give away anything about the game. And so you'll say, like, what can you do with 15, 2-inch diameter iron pipes? You don't necessarily need it all. But what would be really helpful for you now to do is to get an understanding of what parents do you have that might be woodworkers who love to get, wood dusty, because they might be the ones you assign to understanding the field and getting them sort of prepared as to looking forward to helping you build some practice elements and stuff like that. So just sort of understanding who's around you and what resources you have at your fingertips is a good sort of preseason planning thing, so that you're not, at the end of kickoff going, okay, so who's mom or dad, is good with a jigsaw kind of thing. You should know that sooner rather than later.
All right. So again, I want to thank you very much for your time and thank you for your commitment. Congratulations for starting an FRC team. I cannot imagine in my career not having started one. Very few times, and if those of you that are teachers and educators, there's very few times as an educator you get to start something. You get to start something new. Most of the time, if you're in education, you're filling somebody else's shoes or filling somebody else's role. If you're a supporting mentor, congratulations on you for helping the local school start something new. You get to put a stamp on what it is And very few people get to do that in their career in industry or in education. So you have a very fortunate opportunity to get to start something and create something that wasn't there before that can be long lasting and impactful. And our goal as KoPilot mentors is, again, we want to see all of you back here this year, and we all want to see your team be successful and be back next year. And our commitment is not just this year. This is not going to be just a one-time program. We want to see this through, and we want to see success grow. And one of these days, you'll look down the road in 8, 10, 12 years from now, you'll be the one on this side of the screen talking to those new mentors that are getting ready to get started, because you will be the one carrying the torch instead of us. And you will be the one that will be impacting and being that change agent that we talked about before. And so I want to thank you very much. And I want to encourage you to look at the question list that I share with y'all. I'll also answer Ricky. Ronnie, I'll get you that list to the previous year's document as well. And I do want to challenge you to, as Scott says, start to find out in your parents who likes that wood dust, that fairy dust from wood, and just excels in playing in the dust so they can help you with building some field elements. So thank you very much. And we look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Saturday morning, it'll be 10 o'clock. Those of you who want to come, we will continue to open the conversation and continue to follow up and be a little bit more Q&A from you. If you have some questions, come prepared with your questions on Saturday. Y'all have a great night.
Good night.
All right, everyone. Hey, David.
Yes.
You gonna call me?
I'm calling you.
I figured.
Until then, good night, y'all.
See you, David. Thanks. Thanks, Alyssa. Thanks, Lewis. Thanks, Tony. Hope you got your questions answered tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Alyssa, thank you for being here tonight. Do you have any questions before you leave, Alyssa?
No, I'm good. I was just trying to send a message and it wouldn't let me. I was trying to say thanks.
Not a problem. Thank you very much. Let us know if we can help, and don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you.
Thank you.